All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, it's time to tackle the OP10 blue cards. Okay, we've gone over red, we've gone over green, and we've gone over all the leaders. Okay, I'll have those linked in the comment section below. But don't worry, if you're not really interested in these kind of videos, just skip all the way to the end of the video, and I have some gameplay of Purple, Yellow, Nico, Robin. Okay, that should be a lot of fun. We'll check that out then, or whenever we get to it. Or you can skip to it if you don't want to watch the review. So, without any further ado, guys, let's just dive straight into this. I will have everything timestamped in the general description. I'll have all relevant deck lists and links in the comment section below. And yeah, you know what you're getting into, guys. Let's do this. Let's get into it. Okay, first up, we have this card, Moocy. It is a 2-cost, 2,000 power, 2K counter, animal Dressrosa type character. And it has on play, the effect is on play, you may rest one of your Dressrosa type leader or stage cards, okay? And then up to one of your Monkey D. Luffy characters gains banish during this turn. So this is clearly meant for the Dressrosa, Luffy that goes in the that was going in the Rebecca deck. I hate how specific it is. I mean, I understand how powerful this effect is. You're giving banish to a character, and the specific character we're talking about can attack twice, right? And you could, in the same turn, you can also give it something like Gum Gum King Kong Gun, where you can potentially swing twice with double attacks. That's like 4 times with banish. So this is definitely a game ender card, and I could see this being a lot more useful in Rebecca than I could see it in Usopp. However, I'm not saying Usopp won't run this. I'm just saying I could see it being a little more useful in the Rebecca list. But overall, I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. It is a great utility 2K counter, but it is so extremely specific that it will probably just be a 2K counter 90% of the time. Who knows? Maybe you'll always keep one around in your hand for a while to use to try to win the game. But think about it. What are the other 2K counters we know of already before even going through this OP10 stuff for Dressrosa? The others would be like One-Legged Toy Soldier. That's going to help us with cost reduction. Gats, however you say his name, he's going to be able to let us attack active characters. And I think there was one other one I can't think of off the top of my head. Oh, Bartolomeo, and that's a blocker. So it's like, and then you also have this card now. So I'm not saying it's a bad card. Again, it's not bad at all. And if you have the Luffy down, this is like a potentially game-winning card, right? However, that's the trick, is getting down the Luffy and having the cards in your trash and being able to perform a pretty strong combo of like, let me make it where I can swing as many times as I can with Luffy, twice in one turn, obviously. And can you also combo this with your Gum Gum King Kong Gun? That's a lot of tools to set everything up, assuming your opponent has not already gotten rid of your character. I'm just saying, not a bad card. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Very solid, and people will probably be able to pull it off quite a bit. We'll have to see what happens. Really good stuff, though. Okay, next card. Next up, we have Cub. This is a 1-cost, 2,000 power, 1K counter. The Tantada's Dressrosa type character. The effect is on play. You may rest one of your Dressrosa type leader or stage cards. A very common theme in Dressrosa is resting a Dressrosa leader or stage card. And then return up to one of your opponent's characters. Excuse me. Not one of your characters. That would be insane. Return your own, like, 1-cost Rebecca to your hand. Return up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 1 or less to the owner's hand. That would have been insane if you could bounce your own character. But so this is like the blue version of Leo, is what it seems like. Because isn't Leo a 1-cost, 2,000 power, 1K counter? I think it's even Tantada's Dressrosa type character that can KO a 1 or less. And I think it also mills a card or 2. Really solid. I think this is a good card. I'm going to give it a nice little 7 out of 10. I think it's a great utility piece. And in Dressrosa, you're going to easily be able to hit stuff bigger than a 1, right? You're going to have Orlumbus, or you're going to have access to it. I don't know if you're going to run it or not, or if you're going to see it or not, but One-Legged Toy Soldier, Orlumbus, there's a few others I can't think of off the top of my head, like Suleiman, maybe even Hajradin, depending on how you build the deck. There are quite a few cards you'll be able to reduce the power of your opponent's characters with, and then you'll be able to combo it with this and bounce back pretty much whatever you want to. Really solid card. I'm going to give it a 7 or even a 7.5 out of 10. Just a great utility piece. Unfortunately, it doesn't mill like Leo does, because that was one of the best parts about Leo, is it helped mill you early on to get answers into your trash you might want to bring back later. But still very powerful. Okay, Cavendish. This is a 4-cost, 6,000 power, no counter because of vanilla stats, so that means it has an effect. Dressrosa, Beautiful Pirates type. The effect is when attacking, once per turn, draw 2, trash 1 card from your hand. Draw 2, trash 1 from your hand. Man, I'm so sad this was once per turn, because I'm sure everyone who watches this channel knows Green-Blue Zanji, yeah, we were going to want this. I mean, we still might want this card in Green-Blue Zanji, to be fair. But if this was a when attacking, not once per turn, that would be a swing 7, draw 4, trash 2. Like, it'd be swing 7 twice, and it'd be a draw 4, trash 2. That'd be absolutely incredible. I wish. But still very good. Still very strong. So I think in a Dressrosa deck, you're going to have access to the Koala Coliseum, so he's going to be able to attack, rested characters the turn he enters play. And yeah, I think this is a great card. I think this is a really strong card. It's a when attacking, draw 2, trash 1 on a 4-cost 6k body that potentially has rush. At least rush into the board, not into a leader. So yeah, I'm going to give this like an 8 out of 10, guys. I think this card, there's only one downside. The only downside is it doesn't have a counter. So maybe even an 8.5 out of 10. This card is just absolutely incredible. Okay, next up we have, okay, this is the alt art for it. Very nice. I actually like the original art better. That's just me personally, not saying that this one's worse or something. I just personally like it better. And that's how art is, right, guys? Art is subjective. Still really good art, like I said. It's too bad this wasn't a borderless full art, alt art or whatever. Okay, really good stuff. Next up, we have Kyros. Kyros is a 7-cost, 9,000 power, Dressrosa type character. On play, return up to 1 character of the cost of 5 or less to the owner's hand. Remember what I was saying about that Leo card, or what's it called? Cub? Yeah, remember what I was saying about Cub, guys. You're going to have plenty of ways to reduce the cost of your opponent's characters. This guy can bounce a 1 or less, but if you have an Orlumbus on the board, you're bouncing a 5 or less to the owner's hand. The opponent's character to their hand. But Kyros, this is not to the opponent's hand. This is return up to 1 character with a cost of 5 or less to the owner's hand. So in other words, if you needed to, you could bounce back your own card that costs 5 or less. Now remember, with most cost reduction, if not all cost reduction, you can typically only reduce the cost of your opponent's characters. So it's not like you can lower the cost of your, like, Gecko Moria or something and return that back to your hand. I mean, technically, somehow, if you could do that, if something did somehow reduce the cost of your Gecko Moria by 3 on your turn, you know, maybe an opponent's effect or something you can exploit in the future, then you could return it back to your hand. However, I don't think that's possible. I'm not going to do it. That's enough brainstorming about that. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below if I missed an idea for that. But the main thing is this. You're going to return up to 1 character with the cost of 5 less to the owner's hand. Well, Orlumbus is going to be able to make it where you're hitting a 9 or less. You're going to be able to bounce back a 9 or less to the opponent's hand. Very, very strong, guys. This is a very good effect, and it's on a 7-cost, 9,000 power body. Again, what's the only downside? It's like Cavendish. The only downside, this is a vanilla stat character with a very powerful effect. It just doesn't have a 1k counter. But again, that's just for balance reasons. Because, I mean, then it would just be broken, right? Then there would be no downside to the character. It's a 7-cost 9k. The only downside is it does not have a 1k counter. Really good stuff. Big fan of this card. I also like the pose on here. Just, you know, he's got the sword behind his head. Just looking strong. Got that chest bowed out. This guy's an absolute beast. And the effect is very powerful as well. Playing this on curve, just bouncing pretty much whatever you need to out of the way. And establishing a huge body in the meantime. Really good stuff. I'm a big fan of this card. I'm going to give this one like a 8 out of 10. I don't know if it's as good as Cavendish, in my personal opinion. It depends on your play style. If you're more of a removal type of player, like control player, this card is for sure better. But when it comes to just like drawing cards, cycling, and just getting the most optimal value out of every turn, it is hard to beat this card, guys. This Cavendish card is insane. But I'll still give this like an 8 out of 10. This card's incredible as well. Okay, and here's the alt art. Not a huge fan of this alt art. Okay, not bad though. Okay, next up is Koala. 2 cost, 3,000 power, 1k counter. Dressrosa Revo Army. Okay, another blue Revo Army card. Maybe in the future, right, guys? Maybe in the future we'll see maybe a blue and red Dressrosa leader. That would be awesome. Or maybe even a blue and... I think red's like the main color. Maybe blue and yellow or blue and red. That'd be really cool. Okay, so this has a when attacking effect. You may return 1 of your Revo Army type characters with a cost of 3 or more to the owner's hand. This character gains plus 3,000 power during this turn. Man, that would be really nice. That would be really, really nice in like, you know, a red-blue Revo Army list. We'll have to see what they do in the future, but that does kind of... I feel like they're hinting at something here, right? Because how many How many decks can you run this in that has Revo Army targets? Because there's only one blue Revo Army leader right now, right? And very limited blue Revo Army characters. So we'll have to see what happens. I'm keeping my eye on this one. But yeah, as is though, you're bringing back a 3 cost. See now that one more thing. Sorry guys, before we go any further, I would love to combo this with something like Karasu. Right, so like let's say we swing for 7 with Karasu for the turn. So like a red-blue Revo Army leader, that would be incredible. Swing for 7 with Karasu, play this out to save the Karasu, or actually, excuse me, not play this out. Attack with this to save the Karasu, and then get plus 3,000. You're going 6 into a 4. Oh man, that would be interesting, guys. I'm just saying that'd be very interesting if they made a red-blue Dressrosa leader, Revo Army leader in the future. Really good stuff, though. It is very specific. You can only give it to a Revo Army type character, or you can only return a Revo Army type character to do the plus 3,000, and it has to be a cost 3 or more. So I will say this. Oh wait, you may return. No, yeah, it is one of your Revo Army type characters. I was gonna say when it said to the owner's hand, I thought maybe it's just a Revo Army character, but still very good. I'll give this like a. It's nothing crazy until we see more support for it, so I'm just gonna give it like a 6 out of 10. Not bad. Has a lot of potential, though. Let me say that right now. Has a ton of potential. Okay, next up we have Sai. This is a 3 cost, 5,000 power, no counter, Dressrosa Hapasai army. I have no idea if I said that correctly, guys. Bear with me. The effect is on play. You may rest one of your Dressrosa type leader or stage cards. Return up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 1 or less to the owner's hand. Okay, so this is, I guess this is a more aggressive version of the Cub card we just saw. Let's go back to Cub real quick. Because this already bounces a 1 or less and it only costs 1. And typically speaking, when you're dealing with like control, you would almost rather have the same effect on a smaller, cheaper body than a larger body. Just for the sake of, getting the full value out of your turn and having more options, more play. I'm not a huge fan of this card. It's not that it's bad. I'm just not a huge fan of this after already seeing a 1 cost version that does this. I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10 because, again, I think it's still better than a vanilla. I think, typically speaking, you'd rather have access to an effect like this than having a vanilla 3 cost 5k with 1k counter. But some people might rather have the counter, okay? But regardless, I still think it's good. Again, why could they not make this a 2 or a 3 less to the owner's hand? That's what I wish they had done with this. A minor gripe there. Still a good card, but I'm a little bit underwhelmed with this one. Okay, next up we got Sabo here. Okay, 4 costs, 5,000 power, 2k counter, Dressrosa Revo Army. Again, another Revo Army card in blue. Hang on, I'm not crazy, am I? Did I not? I've already done the leaders. Yeah, Dressrosa Straw Hat and Scientist Punk Hazard. Okay, and those are the only blue leaders coming out in OP10. I wonder if they're prepping for something, guys. This does make me consider that, or it does make me think that. So, okay, so 4 costs, 5,000 power, 2k counter, excellent stat line. Dressrosa Revo Army type. The effect is if your character with a base cost of 7 or less other than Sabo would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may return this character to the owner's hand instead. Guys, that is a incredible utility 2k counter. Because think about what it does. It's basically saying, okay, I am going to protect the character on the board, or you're going to be forced to remove this character, right? And if I protect the character on the board, this is going back to my hand so I can play it out again in a future turn, or use it as a 2k counter. Guys, this is really good. If your character with a base cost of 7 or less other than Sabo would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, so not in battle, but by your opponent's effect, you may return this character to the owner's hand instead. This is like an 8.5 out of 10 2k counter in my opinion. Because then, okay, what's the worst case scenario? Oh, yeah, but they didn't try to remove my character. Okay, well, now you have a 4 cost 5k on the board. Like, I don't see the downside. Really strong. It's helping protect your other characters. And, guys, awesome art. Man, that art is awesome. Really big fan of this one. I'm going to give this an 8 or an 8.5 out of 10. Very limited downside to running this card. I can't think of any. Okay, really good stuff. Man, I wish they had given something like this to red or yellow for Sabo for Revo Army. Because currently, there's only 8 legal 2k counters for us in the West that are Revo Army searchable. Between red and yellow card pools. And it's like the other one's going to be a promo coming out, the 5 cost Sabo. It's like, man, if you could have just given us this one. Give us this one, make it red or yellow and let us have this for our current Revo Army decks. That would have been nice. But again, After seeing 2 Revo Army cards in a row, or pretty much in a row, Koala and then Sabo, that's making me think. 2 blue Revo Army cards, they might be preparing us for something in the future. Awesome card, though, Sabo. Okay, Hajradin, 7 cost 9k, 1k counter. This is just a vanilla 5 out of 10. Very nice. Okay, I was going to say Dressrosa. Next up is Hack. This is another Dressrosa Revo Army card with Fishman as well. 4 cost 5k, 4 cost 5,000 power, 1k counter. Dawn times 1 when attacking. Look at 3 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 Revo Army type character card and add it to your hand. Then place the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order. Is this like, I wonder if this is for Emporio Ivankov. Like, now that I'm starting to think about this, I wonder if they're just trying to give Emporio Ivankov support. Yeah, maybe I'm getting my hopes up, guys. Hopefully they come out with a new blue leader, like a blue Revo Army leader in the future that's like red and blue or something. But I could be getting my hopes up. This might actually be more geared towards what's it called? Ivankov. There's a blue Ivankov leader from way back in OP01 or OP02. I can't remember, but it's Revo Army and blue. So that might be what this is for. I hope they're actually teasing us something for the future as well, though. So anyway, this is going to do a Dawn times 1 when attacking. Look at 3 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 Revo Army type character card and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So it's not playing it like the 5 cost 6k red Ivankov does. But hey, Dawn times 1, whenever you attack, you're getting this effect every time. And who knows, maybe if you have down that Sabo, maybe you can protect the card very easily. Very good card, though. Very solid. It has a lot of potential, and it's a searcher, but it's a when attacking searcher, so it's better than the average. How do I say this? The average score that I usually give a searcher is like a 7 or a 7.5 out of 10, unless it's a very strong searcher. Like in this case, I'll give this like an 8 or 8.5 out of 10. Really, really powerful. Okay, next up we have Bartolomeo. This is a 5 cost, 6,000 power, no counter, Dressrosa Bardo Club type character. The effect is blocker, and on play, place up to 1 character with the cost of 1 or less at the bottom of its owner's deck. See, now I already like this one much better than the 3 cost 5k we saw, because this one, neither of them have counters. Like this one, Sai or Bartolomeo, neither of them have counters, but they both have the exact same on play effects, right? Place up to 1 character with the cost of 1 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. You may rest. Yeah, no, this one's just strictly worse because you have to rest a leader or stage. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I probably should rate this one lower than I did because I think most people would rather just have a vanilla. Maybe. I don't know. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Anyway, back to Bartolomeo. This is very good. You're not having to rest a leader. You're not having to rest a stage. You're just playing out a 5 cost 6k blocker that bounces a 1 or less to the owner's hand. So, really good stuff here. I'll give this like a 7 out of 10. Really solid. Okay, next up we have Bian. 1 cost, 1,000 power, 1k counter, the Tentata's Dressrosa type character. The effect is if you have a Tentata's type character other than Bian, this character gains blocker. Okay, that'd be kind of cool to have like this little tiny, 1, 2, and 3 cost deck of little Tentata's characters. That'd be kind of cool in the future. But as is, this is still fine. You're getting a very cheap blocker to maybe include in your Dressrosa list. Not bad, actually. This is actually a very good utility card, and it's a 1k counter, and it's Dressrosa searchable. So I'm actually going to give this like a 6.5 out of 10. This is a very high utility card. It's not going. I don't know if it's going to win you any games, but it could, right? If you just needed a blocker, okay, 1 cost blocker. Here we go. So not too bad. Really not too bad. Okay, next up is Blue Gilly. This is a 3 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter, Dressrosa type character. 5 out of 10, average. Okay, Marco, 3 cost, 5,000 power, no counter, Whitebeard Pirates type. The effect is blocker, and on KO, return up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less to the owner's hand. So he is coming down as a 3 cost 5k blocker, already very good stats, offensively or defensively. And then you can also return up to 1 of your opponent's characters with return 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less to the owner's hand on KO. Very strong card. It doesn't really quite have the same protection that most Marco cards have, but it does have a very powerful on KO effect, and it is very aggressively statted. So I actually like this card quite a bit. I would give this like a 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. It's nothing crazy, but it does have some pretty good, utility. Being a blocker, and when it gets blocked, you can bounce back cards to the owner's hand. Very good stuff. Of course, the problem with all on KO effects, though, is if it gets bottom decked or bounced or tapped down. That's like the one main downside to it. Okay, we got another Mansherry card. Mansherry, however you say this. This is a 2 cost, 0 power, 1k counter, the Tentatus Dressrosa type character. On play, you may rest one of your Dressrosa type leader or stage cards and return one. Okay, interesting. So it's not worded as you may return up to one of your Dressrosa type character cards with a cost of 4 or less to the owner's hand. Isn't that usually how they word the on-play effects? Because now, in other words, I guess what I'm trying to say is now if you play this out, you're going to have to do it because there is no option. Well, no, it does say you may rest. Excuse me. Okay, so it should be fine. I was just, for rules' sake, guys, I had a little bit of a moment there. Okay, so you may rest one of your Dressrosa type leader or stage cards and then return one of your Dressrosa type characters with a cost of 4 or more to the owner's hand. Return up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less to the owner's hand. So you have to return a cost 4 or more character to your hand to bounce a 4 or less to the opponent's hand. Not bad. This is just a great utility card, right? I mean, this is really solid. What would you want to bounce back is the question. Maybe Orlumbus, like maybe you swing with Orlumbus. Or actually, maybe Kyros. No. See, that's unfortunate. I'm going to say this right now. I think this card should have been statted a little bit differently. I mean, keep the stats the same, excuse me. Make it a 2 cost, 0 power, 1k counter card. But I think it should have been able to return a 3 cost or more character to our hand to bounce a 3 or less from our opponent's hand, or back to our opponent's hand. Just so we have the extra value with a card like Kyros. And cards like Bartolomeo. And some people might think that would have been a little too strong. Maybe, but I still think it would have made more sense like that. Bouncing back a 4 or less is like, okay, now we're bouncing back an Orlumbus, maybe the new Cavendish, and any other cards. Hang on. It is locked to Dressrosa. I was say, wait a minute, this could be really crazy. Because for 2 cost, imagine if you bounce back a Gecko Moria to your hand, but it is locked to Dressrosa. That would have been crazy, right? So yeah, okay, I'll just, for 2 Dawn exactly, on a 10 Dawn turn, I'll play this out, bounce back my Gecko Moria after swinging with it, mind you, and then bouncing a 4 or less to the owner's hand, and then replay that Gecko Moria. That would have been insane. That would have been insane. Still, really good stuff here. I mean, this is a really good utility card, and it does allow you to bounce certain cards back to your hand, maybe like the 4 cost Rebecca. So I would say this is a nice, like, 7 out of 10. Maybe 7.5 out of 10, because you can probably do some pretty cool tricks with this, and it's really just like a 2 cost removal card and a 1k counter in hand. Yeah, probably a 7 or 7.5 out of 10. Really good stuff here. Okay, next up we have Leo. We got a 1 cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter, Tentatus Dressrosa type character, Leo. He has the effect of, on play, you may rest your leader or one of your stage cards. If your leader is Usopp, okay, so this is like an Usopp locked effect here. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 2 Dressrosa type cards other than Leo and add them to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order and trash 1 card from your hand. Okay. So, let's read this again. You're going to rest your leader or stage, and if your leader is Usopp, you're going to look at 5 cards from the top of your deck and reveal up to 2 Dressrosa type cards other than Leo and add them to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order and trash 1 card from your hand. So it's like a very specific draw 2, trash 1. It's like a controlled draw 2, trash 1 pretty much, right? Where I'll look at 5 cards, I'll draw the 2 that I want, I'll put the remaining 3 cards on the bottom of the deck, and then I'll trash a card from my hand. Very interesting effect, very powerful as well, and that is an on-play effect. I'm going to give this is much better than your average searcher. It's also a little more, what's the word? Like specific, because you do have it can only be used in Usopp, but imagine trying to find ways to recycle this card in the deck, like if you do run Gecko Moria or something, cheating this card out as your 1 cost character. Yeah, this card right here, guys, I would give this like an 8.5 out of 10. This is an incredible searcher. This is just an absolutely incredible searcher, especially if you have the stage down. But it is locked, you know, exclusively to Usopp, so it is what it is. I'll give it like an 8 out of 10 because of that. Very nice, though. Okay, next up we have Rebecca. So we have a 7 cost, 4,000 power, 1k counter. Blue Dressrosa. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just looking at the art. This is really good. Really cool stuff. I like how this is. I like the way they set up the composition with the shield pushing through the border, the sword going across the top. Very good stuff here. So 7 cost, 4,000 power, 1k counter. On play, if there is a character with a cost of 8 or more, draw 1 card. Now, remember how that is in Usopp, guys? Your Dressrosa characters that are, your Dressrosa characters have +1 to their cost if they cost 2 or more. So, automatically, this card's coming in as an 8 cost character. Ooh, I almost had to sneeze. Sorry about that, guys. I almost had to sneeze there. Okay, so if there is a character with a cost of 8 or more, draw 1 card. Then reveal up to 2 Dressrosa type character cards with a cost of 7 or less other than Rebecca from your hand. And then play one of the revealed cards and play the other card rested if it has a cost of 4 or less. So this is kind of like, I have seen this card. I have gone over before, I think, in another video. It's kind of like a miniature version of Gecko Moria. I mean, it's miniature in the form of like, okay, you're playing out a 7 cost, but it is insanely understated. You know, one of the main things about Gecko Moria, the 8 cost 9K, it's not so much what it's cheating out. I mean, it is. Like, it's getting insane effects from when it's cheating out as well. But it's also an 8 cost 9K body. It's not like it's understated, really, for what you're doing. Whereas this character, they understated it severely to give it a +1K counter and have an effect that's potentially a little bit stronger, where you're pushing out a 7 cost character other than Rebecca from your hand and playing out a 4 or less as well. So, of course, we've already seen 2 really good options, right, for the 7 and 4 cost. So imagine, sorry guys, we gotta go back real quick. So imagine you cheat this guy out, which is a 7 cost 9K, so that will compensate for the lack of power you're getting from Rebecca, and then also the Cavendish being the 4 cost character. It'll come into play rested, so that's a little bit scary, but that's just one option. There's, you know, or you could even bring out the 4 cost Rebecca, right? Let me see something. Let me check the wording. It might say other than Rebecca. Where is she? There we go. Okay, reveal up to 2 Dressrosa type character cards with a cost of 7 or less other than Rebecca. Okay, so you would not be able to cheat out the 4 cost Rebecca, unfortunately. But still, it's still a very powerful effect. You could cheat out a 3 cost Bartolomeo if you needed to get a blocker for later, make them attack into it. It works as like a counter anyway. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of options, and we're not even done with the set. I think there is a 4 cost blocker coming up if I remember correctly. So anyway, whatever the case is, like when it comes to this card, I do think it has a lot of value, a lot of potential value. But it is definitely not as strong as like a Gecko Moria effect, in my personal opinion. Because Gecko Moria is also pulling cards from the trash, right? And it's an 8 cost 9K body. It's just crazy like that, right? But other than that, though, I mean, I still think this card is extremely powerful, especially in the correct deck where you're running all this Dressrosa stuff. Probably in Blue-Black Rebecca specifically. Like, you could run it in Usopp as well and make it work just fine there. But I bet in Blue-Black Rebecca, this would probably be a very, very strong character, because you can draw through your deck so quickly with the leader effect and get whatever cards you need in your hand to pull this off and make it really strong. And the one nice thing about this is if there's a character with a cost of 8 or more, remember, if you're running Usopp, you're just immediately getting this effect. So if there's a character with a cost of 8 or more, you're going to draw a card. And then reveal up to 2 Dressrosa type character cards with a cost of 7 or less other than Rebecca. Well, hang on. Okay. If there is a character with a cost of 8 or more, draw 1 card. Do you have to have a character with a cost of 8 or more to get the rest of the effect, or just to draw the card? It's worded in a very strange way, but it says if there's a character with a cost of 8 or more, draw 1 card, period. Then reveal up to 2 Dressrosa type character cards with a cost of 7 or less. So it makes me think that the on-play effect is still going to go through the whole entire sequencing, even if you don't have a character that has a cost of 8 or more. I think that's just to draw a card. If you guys know exactly on that, they probably have a rules and errata thing already up, but I'm not going to go to it right now. If you guys know the specifics on that, by all means, say something in the comment section below. But, all right, let me go ahead and rate this card. I'm just kind of like lollygagging, trying to figure this card out fully. I would give this card like a 7.5 out of 10. It could be a little better than that. Could be a little worse. I need to really see it in action. But I think, like, face value in a vacuum, I think this is a solid 7.5 out of 10. Okay, now we got the altar. This looks... Okay, now I like this one a lot as well. I actually like this one a lot better than this. This one, they made it kind of a little too shiny for me, I think. Something along those lines. Whereas this one, the palette's a little softer. I like this one quite a bit. Really good. Okay, now for the stages, guys. How are we doing on time? We're doing pretty good. Okay, follow me and I will guide you. This is a 1-cost event here. It is a Dressrosa Straw Hat Crew type event. With the effect of main, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck and reveal up to 1 Dressrosa type character card and add it to your hand. Okay, it does have to be a character card, as weird as that is. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. trigger, activate this card's main. So yeah, you're going to be able to search up like 90% of your deck, but there's some events you might want to get, you know, but you won't be able to. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 Dressrosa type character card. Okay, so it's not color locked. So you can grab a blue or black character, but you would not be able to get like a blue or black event. It's too bad they didn't make this into like one of the, kind of like what Blackbeard has, where it's like a top 3 searcher and you trash the, excuse me, where you do a top 3 search, you get a Blackbeard card and you trash the rest. It's too bad they didn't make this one like that, where it could have been like a 1 cost top 3 search, grab a Dressrosa type card, and then trash the other 2. Because that would fill 3 cards up into your trash, and then it might make people actually consider running a card like Barrier, right? And you'd be able to search up like King Kong Gun and things like that. Still really cool though. Still very powerful. So I'll just give this a 7 out of 10. I almost want to go to 6.5 out of 10, even though it's a searcher, because it's not a body and it doesn't have a 1k counter. So I'd probably give this like a 6.5 out of 10. Okay, Barrier Pistol. This is a 5 cost Dressrosa Bardo Club event. 5 cost event. Let's see what this does, guys. Main, place up to 1 of your opponent's characters with 6,000 power or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. Wow. Trigger, activate this card's main effect. So in a red-blue deck, think about this, guys. This is a main effect here. It is not locked to any kind of leader effect or any type of leader or even base cost, right? It says, or base power, excuse me. Place up to 1 of your opponent's characters with, I can't even talk right now. Place up to 1 of your opponent's characters with 6,000 power or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. So it does not say original power of 6,000. So if you were to run this in like Red Blue Marco, this is a 5 cost dropping an 8,000 power character to the bottom of the owner's deck. Or if you're going to combo with something else, like, I don't know, just any other kind of power reduction, this could hit some big stuff if it's like a Red Blue deck. Really cool card. I like it. I don't know if they're going to run this in Marco. I'm just giving some ideas. But still a very powerful effect. It's a little... It does cost more than Jet Pistol, but that's because it's bottom decking, right? Jet Pistol can KO, and okay, so for those who are not aware, Jet Pistol is a red 4 cost that pops a 6,000 power character or less, but it KOs it. So in other words, this card bottom decks, so they don't get it on KO effect. They can't prevent it from being KO'd. It does not, you know, it does not get any kind of special effect like that. It goes straight to the bottom of the deck. So very, very powerful. I'll give this like a 7 out of 10. I think it's a very good card. It's a little bit costly, but I think it's a very solid card. I'll give it like a 7 out of 10. Okay, next up is Special Long Range Attack Bagworm. This is a 3 cost blue Dressrosa Straw Hat Crew type event. The effect is main, draw 1 card, then return up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less to the owner's hand. Draw 1 card, then return up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less to the owner's hand. So again, they're very smart with that. They made it where you can only target your opponent's characters, because I was trying to break that in my head immediately, like bringing back my own searchers and things like that. Okay, so 3 costs, draw a card, and bounce back a 2 or less to the owner's hand. I think this card is still very powerful, though. I think the card is still very, very strong. Good stuff. Yeah, this is a good one. The trigger is return up to 1 character with the cost of 2 or less to the owner's hand. Now that you can use, but that's a trigger. Very good card here, I think. I don't think it's insane or anything, but I think it's pretty solid. And if you're running this in something like Dressrosa with Usopp, of course you're going to have access to Orlumbus. So you're going to be able to pay 3, draw a card, and bounce a 6 or less to the owner's hand. A 6 or less character to the opponent, you know, your opponent's character to their hand. So really good stuff. I'll give this like a, I'll give it like a 6.5 or 7 out of 10. It's hard to say. Still really good stuff. Okay, then we have the, now we got some alt arts, guys. Charlotte Pudding, 2 cost, 2,000 power, 2k counter. This is the one where activating main, you can return it to your hand. Really nice. And then we get back to the beginning. Okay, well that's it, guys. Just to summarize, I think Blue got some really good stuff. For those who have been following the channel for long enough, or if you know me well enough, I did try to main Blue Black Rebecca when it first came out, all the way back in OP04. And seeing this support come out for Dressrosa makes me very happy. I might try it again. But just to summarize, or to finish that story, for those who are not aware, it did not work out well in the West. In the East, they got a little bit of they got a little bit out of Rebecca, but over here in the West, guys, after seeing how Rebecca played over in the East, people figured out how to beat it, and Rebecca did did not do very good at all over here in the West, unfortunately. But who knows? Maybe with these new cards here, I might have to you know, brush the dust off of Rebecca and give this a try soon. And especially once it's in the sim, when everything's updated on the sim, I will definitely be messing around with Dressrosa again then. All right, that's it. Let's go ahead and hop over to the game, guys. We do have one game we're going to go over today. Y'all give me just a second to get set up here. We have a game of Purple, Yellow, Nico, Robin. I've been really enjoying this leader. And it's going to be versus Red, Purple, Luffy. Volume is off. Speed is on 2x, and we are good to go, guys. Okay, so I am not running. I'm running a version that I put together. It is a, like, I think it's like a 45 different trigger version. Like, it's a full-on super aggressive trigger version. This guy is messing around with a new idea for Red, Purple, Luffy, apparently playing out the stage. That is the 2-cost stage. I'm going to ramp it on, by the way, with the leader effect. That stage can give a Straw Hat character or leader plus 1,000 power for the turn. Very interesting idea, but I don't know if that's the way to go. I don't know. Okay, they're going to play out a Nami. Let's see what they choose to do with this. And they did take the first hit, guys, and that banished the top card of their deck. Very, very powerful. Now it looks like they're going to swing in for 7, 8, 9, 10. They're coming in for 10 into 5. I'm going to take it. We get a trigger. Obviously, like I said, it's like a 45-card trigger deck, guys. Okay, so we're up to 6 Dawn now. We did ramp Dawn. I think we're going to swing in aggressively here for 6. We're not going to use the leader effect, or swing in for 7, excuse me. This is banished. They have to give me a 2K counter. The Franosuke is what they searched up with the Nami, if I remember correctly. And we play out a Kikanojo. And now, guys, it's going to get really aggressive here. Okay, they're going to do a top 5 search with, or is it a top 4? I can't remember. Top 4 or top 5 search with that Trafalgar Law. They're going to play out a Queen. And here we go. Guys, I have the answer to Queen in my hand. I literally have the card in my hand, which is Nami. Okay, they're going to swing for 7. I'm going to take it. Oh, what do you know? Another trigger, of course. Okay, so next up here, let's see. First, we're going to swing for 6. We're going to test the waters, get some cards out of his hand. Because I'd like to connect with my leader. I would like to get my my damage to connect, my hit to connect with my leader. So that way I can actually banish his card. We'll swing for 6. We'll swing for 6. Okay, we'll swing for 6. Okay, let's see what he does here. He takes it. Okay, play out the Nami, popping his guy, swing for 6 with banish. He does have a 1K counter to get out of it. So, guys, this board is just disgusting. I do have a 2K and 2 1Ks in hand, so he can't actually clean up my board. He can maybe get one character out of the way. I'm like, wait a minute, 7 Dawn left? Okay, well, if that's the case, then I might just counter out of this. We'll go 2-1. Yep, your turn, or back to you. And that was pretty much all. I think that's all he had hopes for right there. I mean, I guess he could load up his board, but that would be a little crazy. Okay, you're going to get that attack through for sure. And here we go. So now we do have Sanji in hand. I think they might leave here soon. They do kind of get overwhelmed a little bit. Yeah, I think we're going to swing for 8. We're going to force out the Rad Beam if he even has one. 8 into 6. I'm just trying to get him to use these Rad Beams so I can start calculating. There's the Rad Beam, guys. I found it was in his life. He was leaving it open, so he was bluffing a Rad Beam, hoping he gets one off of his life, and he did. He got one off his life, but I hit it with the banish on my leader. Tragic, tragic situation there. Now, he could have gotten out of 2 more attacks, right? Because he could have gone Thunder Bagua, which he should have done, in my personal opinion. He should have used Thunder Bagua on my first attack for the 8K attack. And then he would have saved the Rad Beam, and then I would have came in for 6. He could have gotten out of that one with the Zoro Juro, and then, remember, he'd still have 1 life left, and then I'd come in for 6 more, and then he would probably play out the, and then he would get the Rad Beam, probably use it to buff his life, and then I'd go everything in on Nami. So that's just kind of the way I was going to do it, and if I couldn't get his last life card, then I was just going to pop something on the board. That was my next best option. But honestly, looking at his hand, I probably had to start swinging for way more after that hit with the Nico Robin, because I would have lost otherwise. He would be on. Actually, he was only on 7 Dawn. See, that's the tricky part about that, is he would only be on 7 Dawn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So next turn he would go to 9, and then he'd be able to go to 10 with his what's his name, with the leader's effect. But here's the problem with him doing that. My final play there was just going to be to swing a bunch of 6s if I couldn't go for lethal. And then I was going to play out the Nami to pop... Actually, excuse me, I couldn't play out the Nami to pop the Luffy. Never mind. Yeah, I think I was just going to go all in there, guys. Because I can't use the Nami's effect on the Luffy because I don't have a card with trigger in my hand. So yeah. Hey, either way, it worked out. Good stuff. That was a fun one. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the deck list real quick. I have showed this off before on the channel. This is the list I'm running. Very standard, or not standard, I guess. Very straightforward list. Let me say it like that. Notice there are only 5 cards in this entire deck that are not triggers, and they are rush cards, or they are cards that crack life, and that's it. Everything else, all other 45 cards are straight up triggers. And with Nico Robin, I actually get access to the Jaguar Desol trigger. It actually comes into play. Same idea with the Nico Ovia, and then of course Professor Clover's just, you know, I can use his on play effect as well. All right, that's it, guys. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Tell me what y'all think about all these new blue cards coming out. How good is Usopp going to be? How good is Dressrosa going to be? These cards look really strong. All right, I'm done. Let's finish this up. Big shout out to everybody who supports the channel, guys. Everybody on the VV Pirates Playmat supporter page, thank you guys so much. Hope you guys are enjoying your playmats. And guys, if you're just liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, you're helping me out. So please continue to do that. It really helps me out. I really appreciate it. And then last but not least, of course, with the patrons here, thank you guys for just supporting the channel, just donating, trying to help out. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. All right, I'm done. Until next time, guys. Peace.